रविजी त्यहाँ आउनु तपाईँ हेलो रविजी
हजुर सर
त्यो बायोग्राफीहरू चाहिँ हामीले होम सरलाई र चाहिँ रमेश सरलाई दिइसकेका छौँ नि है
मैले अनि यता हाम्रो फर्स्ट सेसनको अनलाइन र नआउनु भएकोहरू पनि अपडेट गराइसकेँ सरलाई
ए ठिक छ त्यसो भए उहाँहरूसँग प्रिन्ट कपी छ कि त्यसै
प्रिन्टेड कपी छ सर फर्स्ट
हजुर
सेसन मैले सेकेन्ड सेसनका मात्रै हैन फिजिकल
अहिले चाहिँ फिजिकल हाम्रो चाहिँ फिजिकल के सर र चाहिँ विनोद सरको फिजिकल छ त्यहाँ
अब हामी सुरु गर्छौँ है त
हजुर हुन्छ
ल सर
हामी अनि उसलाई भन्नु पर्ला हैन त्यसो भए रोशन सर पनि हुनुहुन्छ अनि हाम्रो होम सरहरू आइपुग्नु भयो त्यहाँ
यही हुनुहुन्छ सर
Okay, thank you very much for everyone. Let's begin the technical session, the main let's say theme of the conference. We will start from first session now, and then after the launch we will do the second session, and then first session will be chaired as I mentioned previously in my introduction speech that first session will be technical session will be chaired by the Professor Omnath sir. Omnath sir, the floor for yours for the technical session.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. And I would like to hand over to you for what we plan today. Of course, you know that the first presentation will be remotely from Nepal by Professor Ram Prasad Regmi, first presentation, and then we will follow up. Can I hand over to you, sir, now?
Right. Okay. Thank you very much, Nara sir. Sorry we missed you. You couldn't be here in person. But
I also miss you, sir. Thank you very much, and all of you.
To our organizing committee and as a whole SONEUK UK committee. Right. As I said, I feel greatly honored and privileged to chair this technical session. We originally had 5 talks in this session, but however, one colleague would not be able to present, so we are having 4 talks, 1 keynote talk and other 3 technical talks. So the time we have lost can be recovered. So we aim to finish 13:20 as planned originally. Well, again, I'm Home Dakal from University of Portsmouth. I'm Professor of Mechanical Engineering. I also lead a research group called Advanced Polymers and Composites. So our aim is to develop sustainable materials for society, especially to be used in aerospace, automobile, marine, and construction. So that is me. So I think it is really amazing to be in person. I feel very uplifted. I think we're missing that community spirit last 2 years due to COVID, but nonetheless, our SONEUK committee has done an amazing job. Even those 2 years during COVID, we didn't feel that we had not had programs. We had amazing programs. So the thanks and appreciation goes to Samitaji and his team. Despite all these odds, they really delivered the program that we needed. Well, we had amazing, inspiring talk from our ambassador. I think that was really commendable, especially when you have an ambassador, they talk a little bit of politics and then they go to other topics. But he was purely on the subject matter. That was really inspiring. So that was wonderful. Obviously, without saying our committee members and Samitaji's talk was very inspiring too. Right. So before doing more, I think I should go focus on our talk. Okay, I would like to introduce our first keynote speaker, Professor Ram Prasad Regmi, Tribhuvan University, Nepal. He will be delivering a talk on dynamics of air pollution in Kathmandu Valley and control measures. If I just may take 2 minutes just to introduce Professor Regmi. Ram Prasad Regmi is a professor at National Atmospheric Resource and Environmental Resource Laboratory, Central Department of Physics, Tribhuvan University. Professor Regmi holds PhD in Environmental and Life Engineering from Graduate School of Engineering, Taihashi University of Technology, Japan. He completed his master's degree in physics from Tribhuvan University in 1991. His research expertise is in regional scale metrology, environmental impact assessments, and control system development, etc. He has over 21 international publications, along with 24 national publications and many more documented research work. So I would like to welcome Professor Regmi. Now the online floor is yours. My colleague will help if there's any technical issues. Thank you. And the time is 30 minutes for you. So I have started recording your time.
Yeah, thank you very much, Professor Homnath Takal sir. The Ram Prasad Regmi sir has sent the video recording presentation. So he's also here online virtually from Nepal. So I will play that video recording presentations, and the Professor Regmi will be here for QA session as well. Is all right?
Yes.
Regmi sir, is it right? Do you want to say anything, or just can I display your presentation?
It's okay. Please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you very much for your contribution. So I will then play the video recording presentations.
Bharat sir,
Mute.
Sorry, anything from you?
Yeah, we can't hear you.
साउन्ड आएको छैन सर त्यो भिडियोको। हजुरले त्यो शेयर गर्दाखेरि सिस्टम साउन्ड पनि शेयर गर्नु पर्यो।
आएन र अघि के कहाँनेरि गर्नु पर्यो मैले? ओहो,
एक्चुअली यो शेयरिङ क्लोज गरेर हजुरले शेयर गर्दाखेरि त्यहाँ शेयर सिस्टम साउन्ड भनेर आउँछ नि।
सक्नु है त्यसो भए आएन त्यहाँ के भयो पक्नु।
शेयर विथ सिस्टम साउन्ड भनेर भन्ने हुन्छ त्यो।
अच्छा
यहाँबाट शेयर गर्नु।
यो मैले गर्न मिलेन जस्तो लाग्यो। त्यहाँबाट गर्न मिल्छ कि म यहाँबाट त्यसो साउन्ड शेयर गर्नै मिलेन।
यस्तो नाराजी, तपाईले शेयर गर्नु हुँदाखेरि तपाईले शेयर बटन क्लिक गर्ने बित्तिकै एउटा विन्डो आउँछ नि, हैन? पहिला
शेयर बटन क्लिक गर्नु।
शेयर बटन मात्रै क्लिक गर्नुस् त पहिला सुरुमा, शेयर स्क्रिन भन्ने बटन, त्यो ग्रीन कलरको।
त्यो गरे मैले हैन, अनि
त्यो गर्दा एउटा स्क्रिन आउँछ, सानो विन्डो आउँछ हैन? तपाईले शेयर स्क्रिन क्लिक गर्ने बित्तिकै एउटा विन्डो आउँछ। त्यो विन्डोमा तपाईले फाइल सेलेक्ट गर्नु भन्दा अगाडि नै त्यो एउटा बटम लेफ्ट कर्नरमा टिक लाउनु पर्छ कि अडियो, शेयर अडियो भन्ने छ। हेर्नुस् त त्यो
शेयर साउन्ड भन्ने हो कि के छ?
एक्ज्याक्टली हो, त्यो टिक गर्नुस्। अनि
त्यो अर्कै रहेछ यहाँ, अर्कै सिस्टमले त्यो यहाँ अर्कै सिस्टममा शेयर साउन्ड भनेर आयो, अर्कै क्लिक। म ट्राई गर्छु है त ल।
Good morning.
Yes,
I'm Steve.
Hi, Violet.
I'm Ram Prasad Rekmi
Okay, thank you.
from National Atmospheric Resource and Environmental Research Laboratory, Central Department of Physics, Tiruvallur University. I would like to thank Society of Nepalese Engineers in United Kingdom for providing this very important opportunity to share some of the research findings we carried out at NAREL on the dynamics of air pollution in the Kathmandu Valley and its control measures. As you can see in the figure that Kathmandu Valley is located in the middle hills of central Nepal, Himalaya. It is completely surrounded by rather steeply rising mountains and hills, except it has a very narrow river goes in the southwest and couple of low mountain passes in the western and eastern edges of the valley. The meteorological situation as well as the topographic situation of the valley is very complex, and the meteorological complexity is well reflected in the these pictures that the formation of fog, confinement of the pollutants close to the surface, and very poor dispersion in the vertical in the late afternoon, and suppression of the vertical dispersion of pollutants in the afternoon, and formation of multiple layer of pollutants in the late afternoon. All these visual dispersion or the pollution situations suggest that the meteorological situations that prevails during the winter season over the Katun Valley is very adverse, and Katun Valley possesses a very high air pollution potential. In order to understand the meteorological situations and its implication for air pollution transport over the valley, we performed meteorological simulations for the whole winter seasons for several years, and came to the conclusion that the Kathmandu Valley really possesses a very poor air pollution carrying capacity. So as you can see in this figure that the valley remains completely windless or in calm situations throughout the night and morning, and close to the noontime to wind system that is the southwesterly from the southern plain and the northwesterly from the western valley intrude into the valley and merge into a westerly, that westerly passes to the eastern valley. And these regional wind system remain active over the valley until the late afternoon or early evening. If we examine the vertical structure of the flow system over the valley, then it reveals a very strange situation that very strong surface inversion develops over the valley throughout the night and morning, and this strong surface inversion lifts up only in the late morning around 8:30, and then only some vertical dispersion of the pollutants is possible, and close to the noontime when the southwesterly and northwesterly intrude into the valley, they slowly, because their maximum speed is just 5 meters per second for a couple of hours in the during the sunset time. So it slowly drifts towards the east and crosses once to the eastern valley. Then after this valley accumulates all the pollutants at the cold air lake is formed within the valley. That is very stratified, and everything what we emit or the release into the valley remains trapped within the very shallow layer. And these meteorological simulations were examined with the available data, and as much as 7 meteorological observatories are operating in the valley. So we examined the wind speed, wind direction, temperature, all the basic parameters, and we found that our simulation well captures the observed diurnal variation of the basic meteorological parameters. Such as wind speed, wind direction, temperature, and humidity. And also we use our sonic detection and ranging and radio acoustic sounding system and continuously monitor the vertical structure of the wind, temperature, humidity, wind temperature, this turbulent current energy, vertical wind speeds, etc. And then we estimated the boundary layer height, evolution of the diurnal evolution of the boundary layer height, and this estimated boundary layer height and agrees well with the observation and it shows a very strange situations again that this boundary layer height is confined or remains well below the 200 meter, and throughout the night and morning and close to the noontime it starts to improve, or the mixture height increases, but it doesn't go even a kilometer. So it remains 700 to 900 or 950 or 1 kilometer at the maximum. So this boundary layer height is well below the surrounding mountain tops, and it acts as a lead So as it for the pollutants, because it strongly prohibits the mass exchange across this stable layer or the boundary layer height. The volume for the dispersion or dilution of the pollutants is very limited. And if we slightly increase the emission, then it builds up to a very high level of pollution in the valley, as in the case of the, if you close windows or the this doors, and then just light a candle, and then in a few minutes the whole room will be smoked, and it creates a suffocation. Like we have a very limited volume of atmosphere or the air in which our emission dilutes in the valley. So this is the graded emission inventory we prepared at 1 kilometer resolution, and this same emission graded emission inventory is used in the chemical transport modeling. And I do not go to details in this, because another contributor, another paper is dedicated for this case. So I want to skip this. So using that dispersion, the graded emission estimations, we perform the chemical transport calculations for PM 2.5, and the resulting dispersion pattern, diagonal variation of the dispersion pattern is reflected in this figure. And the simulated mathematical field is then compared with the observations, and very exciting or the encouraging results we have obtained. And with this this correlation coefficient or the error analysis, statistical analysis suggests that our simulation is reasonable and can be used for assessing the air pollution situations, and to perform the controlled simulations to improve the air quality over the Kathmandu Valley. So this figure shows, animation shows the vertical dispersion of the pollutants over the Kathmandu Valley. So as we discussed in the meteorological conditions, that is likely to confine the pollutants within the very shallow layer, as expected. The chemical transfer model suggests that the pollutants is really trapped within the very shallow layer throughout the night and morning, and it has a very limited vertical dispersion in the afternoon. And only the important or the effective air pollution transport system or the dilution of the pollution in the valley is the slow horizontal dispersion towards the drifting towards the eastern area of the valley, and finally crossing to the eastern Nisbaring Valley. And this model predictions agrees well with the field observations. We perform the vertical profile measurements at the center of the valley at Sanatimi up to the 500-meter height using a drone. So the model predictions, the red lines, and the observed drone observed pollution PM 2.5 concentration blue lines, they agree very well. So with these, we can say that our simulation is very reliable, and we can use it or apply it for controlling the air pollution in the valley. So we also tried some hypothetical, like controlled measures, like if we reduce emission in the domestic sector by this factor, or in transportation by this factor, or in industrial sector by this factor. So we did several experiments, and one of the experiments we perform is like a reduction in 80% in the transport domestic sector, 70% in the transport sector, and a 60% in the industrial sector. So the resulting after reduction, the dispersion pattern of the PM 2.5 looks like this, and we can clearly see that the PM 2.5 concentrations decreases drastically, and it remains well below the national air quality standard set for the PM 2.5. And if we compare, like without a reduction or the current air pollution level at different parts of the valley where the air quality are monitored is the red one. And if we do that reduction, that is we reduce the domestic to down to 20% of present, and 30 in transport sector 30% of present, and in industrial sector 40% of the present, then the resulting concentration of PM 2.5 at different places of the Cotton Valley, or we can say throughout the valley, is drastically decreased and is represented by the blue lines. So drastic reduction of pollution is necessary if we really want to improve the air quality of the Cotton Valley. With this, I would like to conclude with these points. Air pollution dispersion power of the near surface atmosphere of the Cotton Valley is very poor. Present emission loadings of the Cotton Valley is several folds higher than its carrying capacity. An unacceptable level of air pollution prevails over the Cotton Valley. Need to implement air pollution emission control measures with predictable results. Regular air pollution transport modeling, verification with the field observations, and revision of emission control measures can help realize necessary standard of air quality in the valley. Introduction of clean mass transport system can enormously help reduce the emission and hence improve the air quality in the valley. A dedicated institutional platform for continuous research, cooperation, and collaboration is highly desired. With this, I would like to thank you for your kind passion and listening to me. Thank you so much.
Right, Professor Regmi, thank you so much for your insightful presentation. The very important topic of air pollution in Cotton Valley and the control measures. Now we have time for questions. So please, any question to Professor Regmi? I have one question, but maybe I give the privilege to you to start the question, please. Yes, yes. Professor Regmi will directly answer the question. Am I right, now, sir?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Thank you very much for your lovely presentation. It was really like gave us a lot of insight about the air pollution in Kathmandu. So, being a layman, I'm not like an expert in this topic. I've heard that the area like Municipality and Buran in Kathmandu has not that don't get that air pollution compared to the other parts. Is that right, or it's like it's only based in the layman terms? I'm sure about that.
So it's very difficult to listen to you. So
I think he was talking about the Municipality and which area you mentioned before? Buranil content Municipality, the air pollution as less. Is that the right question?
Yeah.
Yeah. The question is that the Municipality and Buranil area, the air pollution is massively less compared to the other area. Is there any particular reason? The question is.
Yes, as we see that the major wind system of the Cotton Valley are the southwesterly that intrudes from the Bagmati River goes from the southwestern goes And another major wind system of the Katun Valley is the northwesterly that intrudes from the Thankot and Yemdunga and Mutkubanjang area. And as the fresh air is intruding from that part, so the valley's pollutions are drifted or that is transported towards the east. So this is the reason these two areas or the southern area and this northern and northwestern area are relatively safe compared to the other eastern region.
Great, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Other questions?
I have one question.
Yeah,
You
please.
go ahead.
No, well, my question was this, Professor Regmi, you mentioned different sectors contributing pollution, for example, domestic, transport, industrial. In terms of the intensity, is it that domestic contributes more pollution than transport and then industry, or how do you rate them?
The major source of emission is the transport sector. But in preparing the graded emission inventory, we subdivide it into the sectors. Like domestic sector is comprised of several subsectors. Like in the transport sectors, like two-wheelers, three-wheelers, or four-wheelers, or heavy-duty public vehicles, taxis, all are separately calculated. And in the case of the industries also, these cottage industries, big industries, brick fields they are separately calculated, and separately we perform the dispersion modeling and compare their relative contributions. And while preparing or suggesting the reduction factor, like it is just we wanted to demonstrate that when you reduce the emission, like the natural phenomena, like this meteorological adversities or the poor dispersion power of the valley cannot be changed. That is not in our control. But what is in our control is we can reduce depending upon the situations of the or carrying capacity of the valley that is difficult to determine by the meteorological situations. So we must be very smart and limit our emission activities so that the necessary quality of the air can be maintained. So this is just a reduction of 80% in the domestic sector, 70% in this transport sector, and 60% in the industrial sector. So this is not hard and fast. Like this is the only options that if we so that if you make certain reductions in the emission, air quality can be improved. And if the government says or this municipality says that yes, it is not possible to reduce 80% in the domestic sector, but we can go up to this, or in the transport sector we can go up to this, and in the industrial sector we can go up to this. If they reply that way or they purpose like that, then we can calculate what will be the resulting quality of the air in the Kathmandu Valley. So this choice was made because if we can supply electricity cheaper than this kerosene and this LPG gas, then people would use this electricity, and even we can expect that 100% reduction in domestic sector is possible. And we should remember that this refuse burning is a big problem in the Kathmandu Valley, and so the domestic sector is also this refuse burning is included in the domestic sector. So by separating the different issues and different options, we can, since the model has been developed and it agrees very well with the observations, now we can do several observations or the reduction or this numerical experimentation. So people developing air pollution control system for the valley.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you very much. I think this is very common truth that transport sector globally contributes about 45% of CO2 emission. So that is very true in Nepal's case as well. So if we can do something about transport sector, I think overall pollution or CO2 emission can be significantly reduced. Yeah, thank you very much. Keke sir, you have a question?
Yeah,
please.
I think my question is partially answered already. Anyway, I have a question, particularly on transport sector. If you have any yearly changes of transport emission or pollution, so which one is the critical pollutant in Kathmandu? Like any sort of CO, carbon monoxide, or other things, by boss, diesel boss, any which one is you have separated from the normal pollution? I mean, which one is the critical pollutant?
In the transport sector?
Yes. Which one is contributing more?
So this comparative study has been made, like we divided this transport sector, like public transport, this four-wheelers, two-wheelers, and then like power trailers, tractors, six-wheelers, and all the categories, 10 different categories, and separately calculated. But I'm not update like the what is the exact contributions, because one of my a PhD student was supposed to talk in detail about emission activities. So unfortunately, I could not spell out like this is the particular and this is the amount of emission from transport sector. I mean, Southern Sisters paper might reveal all these things.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay. Are there any questions from colleagues, audience? Right. If there are no questions, then we again thank you so much, Professor Regmi, for sharing amazing experience. We wish you all the best, and you are doing amazing work in the past. Thank you.
I stop sharing now then. Okay.
Oh, that's very nice. So we have got about 6 minutes spare from this session.
I need that.
So
I have a lot of slides. So
okay, right. So our next talk is another very exciting talk. I feel very privileged, where I'm sitting. I'm sitting founding president of SONEUK UK and past president of SONEUK UK. I'm in the middle chairing the session. So it's a really amazing place to be. Right. So now I'd like to sustainable and integrated transport in Kathmandu Valley. So if I could just take a few minutes to introduce himself. I know most of you know him. He's a very well-known personality in our SONEUK UK, but nonetheless, I would like to introduce him a bit further. Krishna Kishore Sesta is a chartered engineer with 32 years of experience in highway design, construction, maintenance, project management, and asset management, gained in consultancy, contractors, highway services, provider in different countries, including Malaysia, Albania, you can name. So currently he is working in pavement asset at National Highways UK. Mr. Sesta has completed Masters in Science, Transport from University of London, Imperial College of Science, Technology and Medicine, and University College London in 2001. He completed MA in Civil Engineering from State Technical University, Moscow, Automobile and Road Construction Institute, Russia in 1982. Now, Krishna sir, the floor is yours. It's so great that he's in person, so we don't have all the technical difficulties that we had in our first keynote talk. Now, floor is yours.
I should stand or I can do like this?
No, you have 25 minutes, so there will be maybe 5 minutes spare.
Okay. So is the full screen, you think? Yes, the full view. Yeah, full screen on this. Huh? It is your title slide. Why not? No. This one. Yellow order. No.
So those colleagues who are online, they cannot see this, or they can see this presentation? Yeah, please, if that is possible. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Because they have to connect. त्यहाँबाट मलाई सेयरिङ इनेबल गर्नु थियो यसमा होस्ट भने होस्ट तल बिचमा छ नि मोर भन्नुहोस् पोस्ट मेक पोस्ट सरी ओके गरिदिनु यो साउन्ड त्यस्तो केही छैन कि हैन सेयर गरिदिनुहोस्
Yeah, we can see now.
Okay.
Thanks for sharing.
Full slide now. Yeah. यहाँ चाहिँ चेन्ज भयो एक बुट यहाँ चेन्ज ओके मलाई कता हेर्नु थियो
तपाईँ
मैले त एकदम नजिक जानुपर्छ
हजुरले क्लिक मात्रै गर्नु भयो
यहाँ चाहिँ
त्यहाँ गर्नु पर्दैन
क्लिक मात्रै गरेको त्यहाँ देखिन्छ So my topic is sustainable and integrated transport in the Kathmandu Valley. So I will be talking about introduction of transport system in Kathmandu, and maybe I will review the studies made done so far. So why त्यसैमा गर्यो भने
हैन यो कनेक्सन नै यसैबाट मात्रै छ सर
ए यसबाट
यो
तल डाउन so I will this is the outline of my presentation. Rapid urbanization, what is the cause of transport problem in Kathmandu Valley. So I will be doing some sort of brief statement about transportation in Kathmandu, and very brief about public transport studies made by various agencies in Kathmandu, and metro rail studies about metro rail studies is few slides, and I will be briefing about integrated and sustainable transport, and I will give you some conclusion way forward for the transportation in Kathmandu. So this is, I'm giving two maps over there. Is one is a yellow one is a map of 4 districts. Is the Kathmandu Valley plus Kaveri Palancho is a greater Kathmandu Valley, to make it greater Kathmandu Valley in the sense that Banepa Sinduli Road is there, so we have to include that one. And this is, you can see how dense is the road network in Kathmandu Valley. So this slide shows how Kathmandu Valley is growing. The built-up area, you can see it is starting from 1967 up to 2050. 1967 to 2011, you can see this is you can see the red patch is growing very fast, and the other 2020 to 2050 is like a projection for 30 years. So the right side, you see those the graph. You can see only plotted for 1967 to 2011 is 24, about 25% is increase whether it was only 2.2% something in 1967. Is it going faster? Yeah. This wasn't going on. Yes, sir, please go ahead. Oh, yeah, okay. Sorry, there's some technical. Please. So I'm giving explain some data of Kathmandu, Greater Kathmandu Valley, including four districts. You know, this population forecast was done 2011, but I amended for using 2021 CBS data. It was preliminary. Still, I have not got final data, but the forecasting I have done is done by Kathmandu Sustainable Urban Transport project. So they have used 30% of floating transportation. 30% floating is Kathmandu is temporary residents or they are movable. So on the right side there is a graph. You see the blue line is very close to the dotted total line. So Kathmandu is a more populated place, and you can. I'm also giving another hints of growing population in Kathmandu. You can see the right side. I don't think you can see this color here. There is a three line basically. The Asia is Asian population to the top. How is the very sharp curve rising, and in the middle is green. That one is South Asia, and the red, the bottom one is Nepal. So anyway, they are rising very high. So according to World Bank, it says about 37% population increase in urban population increase in Nepal. But another study done by World Bank is giving 4% of annual growth in Kathmandu Valley. That's given by World Bank. Yeah, vehicle growth is another factor. So there is a growth of registered vehicle. You can see how steep the graph. You see the graph over there. It is from DOTM, Department of Transport Management. So vehicle registered in Bagmati zone itself is about 30% of total of Nepal. So, and there is another criteria like in inside Kathmandu and outside Kathmandu comparing. So there is 34% in Kathmandu Valley and outside it is 66%. So you can see Kathmandu is more vehicle, more population. That's the case of our transportation congestion. Yeah, vehicle fleet characteristics. It means type of vehicle, how many. So we have the red patch or brown patch is motorcycle. All are motorcycles. So number of motorcycle is too much, is 79%, and others are minimal. So out of them, the green patch is is a car. So car having a substantial sector, a substantial percentage than others. So I have given to compare to know how much is the other transport. So AADT, the AADT is a daily traffic, annual average daily traffic. This is also counted by KCTP project in 2018. It says that from Bhaktapur to outer ring road, somewhere in the outer ring road. So it says the modal share is very close to the national figure. So I compare the public and private transport in this. So the right side one is blue patch. Blue is a private vehicle and others are public. So you see, private vehicle is mostly motorcycle and the car. Also, other issues are, trips. So how many trips does means how many how much kilometer we walk. So that types of trips you do daily. So you can see the blue one is walking. Walking is most highest trips in Kathmandu, and after that is bus and bus bus and motorcycle. So they are almost similar. So I am comparing in this also NMT. NMT is non-motorized transport, means walking and bicycle. So it is like about 42%, but public transport is 28 and motorcycle is 26. So there are competition between them. Another chart is given by JICA study 2011. They have forecasted for 2022. The chart below left is the blue, dark blue is walking almost reducing little bit, and bicycle is almost reducing, and motorcycle is increased, by the way, and the car also increased. Yeah. So I'm comparing with practical things. So our trips are, I've shown two pyramids there. One is upside down, see, because you can see model trip is cars and public transport is, you can see at the top is a car, and in the middle is a bus, private bus, public bus, and down is walking and maybe cycling also. So we have trips are more on walking and cycling, but infrastructure provision for right side is roads and buses are there, big roads, everywhere is roads, but there is no footway, cycleway. So that's the importance. We have to, there is no proportionate, investment. I have given a detail of this public transport issues. So I will summarize this is mostly we have about 200 existing public transport routes. So that is public transport is only defined by the DOTM, but there are many informal routes done by informal transport. Informal transport is like a three-wheelers, I mean tempos or microbus, something like that, which is not properly regulated by the government. So the chaos is there because of that, because these are running parallel to the bus, parallel to any other transport. So they are making congestion on that. So I will show some progress towards electric mobility, which is very important for our sustainability purpose. So, but trolley bus was started in 1973 and aborted in 2009, abandoned. So that is a case we have started, although China government has done that one, but that is the initiative is done, started at 1970, and but that is we could not continue, but they are planning to continue, I think, I heard. And Safar Tempo already in 1990 started. One is the entrepreneur, engineer Vijay Mansherton. He started, Navy, Nepal Electric Vehicle Association or something. So he is an entrepreneur who started Safar Tempo. So there is a good thing that DOTM is doing. So they are trying to use GPS vehicle tracking system. This is just started with the Indian government, I think. How much is time?
Yeah, you have another 13, 14 minutes.
Roughly,
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is all I'm giving the circles.
different in
Sorry,
different.
sorry, Krishna sir. Of course, we are slightly over on other things, but if you can do quickly, that will be okay. But of course, I didn't want to. Of course, it's still
Okay.
your time anyway. But take your
Okay,
time.
yeah,
But
yeah.
if you can quickly, that should be appreciated. All
Okay.
right.
So I have a minimum time left. Others I would giving you flavor of what I'm doing.
Yeah,
So-
but take your time. Sorry, I didn't want to actually disturb you. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Naradi. So how many studies have done regarding public transport involvement in Kathmandu Valley? So there are several, but the first starting point is 1993 Kathmandu Urban Road Development Master Plan done by JICA. I have seen this document, and what I mean, following that, and JICA started another study for Kathmandu Valley, and ADB started another title is Kathmandu Sustainable Urban Transport. These two name is continuously they are doing several years like 2000, 2009, so that 2012, 13, 14, 17 until now they are doing. But JICA's input is data collection. So they mainly make the database for transport company. So they have a great contribution. And ADB is, at last in 2018, they have produced mass rapid transportation system in Kathmandu. So they have produced latest, metro studies they have done. Yeah, from the study, I have produced only the interesting part. So they say restructuring of public transport routes. That means we have got road network that I have shown before. So road network, there is a wider and strategic road, which is a main road. Let's say main road. Then main road becomes, first tier, primary routes. So bigger bus will be run on that. And other secondary routes is secondary type roads, and tertiary is smaller road, so which will feed the primary roads. So that is the solution ADB has done KSUTP in 2014 and 17. This is already in the pilot phase. So yeah, whatever I told you just now is the primary public transport. You can see the red bit is the ring road, and north south is Puralindo and Sardobato, and there is a maybe the east west also, and inside the town center. So these are the main routes of primary public road, and this pilot routes is, you can see the right side. This is the pilot routes. ADB is doing some testing program. It is not 90. It is not 100% successful. What they are doing, they are supplying a big bus, and they are controlling the routes for not duplicating the routes. Yeah, this is the main study for traffic model. So travel model or traffic model, whatever you say. So two map is shown as about ring road size. In the left side is JICA. So JICA is mainly concentrated on the inside the ring road. They use traffic analysis zone. That is the TAJ. TAJ means TAS is a traffic analysis zone from where you can one small unit, which we call it from there to there, from here to there. That is origin and destination. We have to calculate traffic, going and coming. So ridership calculation. So that this model gives you total population, how they travel, and how much the need of transport. We can load it in the transport network. Yeah, next. Yeah, I'm giving you just flavor of what is the type of public transport. So the first one is BRT, is the bus rapid transit. It is in Jakarta, but it is next to each other. The bus and the other cars,
And the second one is automated guided transit. It is just concrete bridge. Over that is a small two cabin vehicle. So this I'm not sure it is built or not. This is from design drawing. And third one is a cable car in Colombia. It's right in the middle of city. You can ride this one. In Kathmandu also they are trying to do this one. The bottom left is light rail transit in Congo. It's taking space on the ground. So, and the second bottom is Bangkok Sky Train. You might have gone there, and Kuala Lumpur monorail. Next. Yeah, I'm going to now neighbor. So Delhi Metro underground, you can see, and an elevated metro rail Gurgaon, and Hyderabad metro rail at the top, bottom left, an elevated double track bogie. This is in Germany. Okay. So transport policy documents, I want to read out everything there. Transport policy documents are so nice in Kathmandu that they all talk about stress about mass rapid transit, walking and cycling, environmental consideration, sustainable transport, everything. But they are not spelled out in the program. There is no program for that. There is no investment money for that. Yeah, this is a chart. Several chart gives you when we start study of metro or mass rapid transit or development of that. So giving the population of 2031 is about 4 million. So 4 million is a right time for having some sort of least developed country. Kathmandu is already candidate for the metro study. And another chart, the third chart gives you is a develop rail-based transport. So this chart gives you some idea. Yeah, okay. This is the three scenario I'm giving. So the first one is JICA model. It's a ring road within the ring road and a little bit extended to outside existing ring road. And second one is ADB. KSUTP, you can say this is little bit extended model, but there is no outer ring road. And GKB metro rail routes. It is Dr. Binod Lal Amatya. He planned this one, so I am giving this one also as well here. It's a two ring road. So one is the existing ring road. This another is a outer ring road, and there are five lines, but others are, branches also. Yeah. So I'm giving the capacity and ridership. Capacity is a different thing. Which route can take, which route taking more. So there we can see Bhaktapur Naya Naika is having more passenger, 30,000. And I was talking about ridership. Ridership is about, let's say, in 2030, the East-West is having 1.9 million ridership. But there is a JICA model also. But this was, there is you cannot compare these two because there are different fare prices. Okay. So I will not go in deep our sustainable transport. You can see this left chart is giving prioritizing sustainable transport. So there is a walking is the first choice, and cycling, and then public transport, and so on. So sustainable transport is for us is walking, cycling, and public transport, and metro. And important thing is the river system in Kathmandu. We can use. They are using already for the road, but we can use for cycling and walking, and we can make a bridge, more bridges over there. I want to conclude this one, that there are four major areas we can improve in Kathmandu Valley. Is institutional reform. It's the first one we have to do. It's very difficult because the working in DOTM, and improvement in public transport management is very chaos over there. travel demand management, they are still, there is one or two items already they are underway, and developing urban railway system is a must, and promoting walking and cycling. So there are 5 major improvement areas. So if we use all this and we can integrate everything, we can reduce, travel time, reduce congestion, and increase personal mobility. That's all. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you very much, Sujata, for such an insightful presentation. Really, really enriching what is happening in Kathmandu Valley and what an amazing plan for Kathmandu Metro. I think that's really great. We have amazing engineers in our team. So you have, your model was presented there. That's really commendable. I think that's really big asset that we have got here in SONEUK. That's really inspiring. Well, we have time for 2 or 3 questions. Very quick questions. Yeah, please.
When you metro program that is what is population like greater metropolitan because Kathmandu see it that 10% total population must be urban area as compared to other cities like Costa Rica, almost 75% people live in urban areas. Kathmandu like 10% of the population live in the concentrated areas, and we already have so feasible say because we live in a part of certain economy, why? We could rather use money and 15 minutes to go from city by how feasible do you think metro is for Kathmandu city? Or is there any other alternative?
Yeah, it's a valid question. Actually, के भइरहेछ भने अब काठमाडौँ भ्यालीमा तपाईले फर्स्ट म्याप can you go to first slide? So काठमाडौँ भ्यालीमा चाहिँ अब तपाईले जति रोड देख्नुहुन्छ नि त्यहाँ त्यो सबै ठाउँमा मान्छे बस्छ र सबै ठाउँमा पब्लिक ट्रान्सपोर्ट पनि गइरहेको छ कि कहीँ चाहिँ बस तानेन होला हैन तर पनि अहिलेको डेभलपमेन्ट सिस्टम के छ भन्दाखेरि कहाँसम्म पुगिसक्यो भने काठ हुन्छ काठ भन्ने तपाईलाई थाहा होला त्यो जस्ट हिल स्टार्ट हुने टाइम त्यहाँसम्म अहिले सबै डेभलप भइसक्यो त्यहाँसम्म सबै डेभलप भइसक्यो त्यसलाई फ्रिन्ज एरिया भन्थ्यो फ्रिन्ज एरिया भनेको आउटसाइड रिङ रोड अब चाहिँ आउटडोर रिङ रोडमा पनि जग्गाहरू अब त्यहाँ डेभलप सुरु भइसक्यो त्यस कारण चाहिँ यी सबै ठाउँमा चाहिँ पपुलेसनहरू चाहिँ इन्जोय गरिरहेको छ पब्लिक ट्रान्सपोर्ट अनि मेट्रोलाई चाहिँ हामीले तिनीहरूलाई पनि कन्सिडर गर्छौँ तिनीहरूले मेट्रो चढ्छ भनेको त होइन तर मेट्रोसम्म जानलाई जुन अघि मैले टर्सियरी रुट यता भने चाहिँ टेम्पोहरूले पुर्याउने अरू मेट्रो बस्ने मेट्रो स्टेसन पुऱ्याउँछ मेट्रो स्टेसन युज हुन्छ त्यसरी गरिन्छ त्यो चाहिँ अझ ठुलो कुरा हो होइन इकोनोमिक सिस्टम भनेको चाहिँ सेकेन्डरी भइसक्यो हामीलाई चाहिँ खास चाहिँ मैले यहाँ अहिले भन्न पनि मैले पाइनँ टाइम कम भएको लागि 160 बिलियन चाहिँ हाम्रो लुज हुन्छ कि एनुअली बिकज अफ ट्रान्सपोर्ट त्यस कारण हामीले लुज गरिरहेको छौँ त्यो सबै जोड्यो भने त हामीले यो बनाएको
Right. One last question. Yeah. All right. Okay. That's just 2 questions. Yeah, please.
Why don't we implement like bus lanes? Why don't we just take action to this motorcycle? Why don't we implement like more strong traffic rules? Implement like some motorcycle or road man, down go around. Things like rules okay? Man, just to get out of motorcycle, and implement charges for the motorcycle so that they won't use motorcycle like immediately. So these things can be taken as the first step for developing this sector.
Yeah.
Rather than just targeting something that's like seems too impossible at this time because people just try to just make metro and all those things. It would take at least 30 years.
Yes.
Yeah. I know that something needs to be implemented in the dream.
Yeah.
Because of the one is not the dream becomes you find there. Because and the metro will be the same thing, but like the first step that we can take from the beginning is that. So I just it's not like my
I got your
I think that's a valid point.
I got your point. Yeah. So के रहेछ भने यहाँ मैले ट्राभल डेभलपमेन्ट म्यानेजमेन्टको मैले कुरा भनेको छुइनँ कि यहाँ तर त्यो पनि तपाईँले भनेको सबै कुराहरू हामीले गर्नुपर्छ नत्र मेट्रोमा चाहिँ बनाएर छोडिदिएर गऱ्यो भने त्यही हो हात्ती ल्याएको जस्तै हुन्छ कि अनि त्यस कारण चाहिँ त्यसको सबै यो चेना बेना भनौँ न कम्पोनेन्ट फिचर्सहरू सबै गर्नुपर्छ
Right. I think that's very true. It's not like a plug and play system. There has to be a readiness level. What are the infrastructure needs to be developed for this? So any development activity that is very important. Thank you very much. Yes, obviously awareness is very important. Yeah, right. So last question, Roshan sir, if you don't mind, could you please talk with KK sir during lunch time, please? Okay, you're very good. Thank you. Roshan sir, very quick, last one, please.
Mainly मैले अहिले र अघि योभन्दा अगाडिको प्रेजेन्टेसनलाई मैले आफैले अहिले एक्सपिरियन्स गरेँ जस्तो हामी ट्रान्सपोर्टेसन नेटवर्कको कुरा गऱ्यौँ कुनै पनि प्रोजेक्टले चाहिँ फोरकास्ट गर्दाखेरि हामीले चाहिँ मिनिमम 25 इयर्सको फोरकास्ट गरेर प्रोजेक्ट हेज टु बी कम्प्लिटेड इन 5 इयर्स है अनि त्यसले गर्दा पनि त्यसले 25 इयर्सलाई सर्भ गर्छ है नत्र भने उहाँले भन्नुभएको जस्तो मेलमजीको केस हुन्छ बाइ द टाइम द प्रोजेक्ट कम्स इन द पपुलेसन ग्रोज होइन अनि त्यसले फेरि हुने हुन्छ होइन मेन चाहिँ के भन्दाखेरि यसमा यो ट्रान्सपोर्टेसनको लाई चाहिँ सपोर्ट गर्नको लागि हामीले चाहिँ यी पोल्युसनलाई पनि कन्ट्रोल गर्नको लागि चाहिँ अहिले आएर चाहिँ जस्तो हामी पुरानो टेक्नोलोजी जसरी अरू देशहरूले विकास गर्दै लिएर आए त्यस्तै स्टेपलाई फलो गर्नुको सट्टा वाइ कान्ट वी जम्प भनेर भन्छु कि मैले त्यसलाई बाइपास गरेर वाइ कान्ट वी जम्प होइन त्यसमा चाहिँ अहिले के छ भन्दाखेरि मैले नै युज गर्छु डेली होइन अफिस जाँदाखेरि अहिले चाहिँ त्यो जुन यहाँ बच्चाहरूले चाहिँ एउटा खुट्टाले फर्काउने चलाउँछ नि यी स्कुटरहरूदेखि लिएर अनि त्यसका पनि डिफ्रेन्ट भर्सनहरू छ मार्केटमा अनि एकदम सस्तो पनि छ है डिफ्रेन्ट भर्सनहरू छ त्यो चाहिँ हामीले चाहिँ काठमाडौँको सेन्ट्रल जुन छ सेन्ट्रल काठमाडौँलाई चाहिँ हामीले चाहिँ यदि गुड्सहरूलाई ढुवानी गर्नदेखि बाहेक अरू केसमा चाहिँ हामीले जान दिएनौँ खालि स्कुटर मात्रै युज गर्न लगायौँ भनेर भने पनि हाम्रो मोस्ट अफ द प्रब्लम सल्भ हुन्छ र हजुरलाई भन्छु 20 किलोमिटर पर आवर मजाले चल्छ भनेपछि हाम्रो चाहिँ एउटा कर्नरबाट अर्को कर्नर चाहिँ हेर्नुभयो भने 20 किलोमिटर अहिले पनि मोटरसाइकलमा जानु हो भने जामले गर्दाखेरि यु क्यानट राइड मोर देन 20 किलोमिटर
सेम थिङ हामीले भनिरहेको साइकल लेनको कुरा गरिरहेको छु नि साइकलको त्यही कुरा
Right. Okay, very good. Roshan sir, thank you so much for your input. We can continue this discussion very long time. Okay, we have another amazing talk that is from Gaurav Shrestha, Institute of Engineering.
Sorry, Home sir. Now Pawan Babu Shrestha, Pawan Babu Bastula is available, and I have discussed between themselves. So Pawan will present first, and Gaurav will second one.
Okay,
right.
Okay, right. So shall we go to Pawan then? Okay, Pawan Babu Bastula, Nepal College of Information Technology. The topic is feasibility of underground Kathmandu Metro Rail pattern line. Wow, Kathmandu Metro has taken a lot of attention. That's really interesting. This is a very important area. Right. If I just may take a couple of minutes just to introduce Pawan Babu Bastula. Engineer Pawan Babu Bastula is a civil engineer and pursued his graduation in geotechnical engineering from the Institute of Engineering Pulsa campus, Srinagar University, under the supervision of Dr. Vinod Lal Amatia. Very interesting. Wow, it's already started.
No, sir. No, you can continue.
Let me just complete my introduction. The technology is moving so fast. Right, very interesting. Right, so let me continue. Under the supervision of Vinod Lal Amatia, consulting geotechnical engineer of Greater Kathmandu Valley Metro Rail Promotion Group, GKMBPG. Wow, it's very interesting abbreviation. UK. He researched on the topic tunneling for metro rail in the ground condition of the Kathmandu Valley pattern line. So he's currently teaching a lecture at the Nepal College of Information Technology, Baltimari, Nepal. So the online floor is yours, Mr. Pawan Babu Bastula. Thank you.
Yeah, he's available.
Thank you, SONEUK sir. Namaste everyone. I am Pawan Babu Bastula.
I think he is presenting from inside. Narad sir.
Okay, thank you, Pawan. Sir, to Pawanji. Can you play now the Rabiji Pawanji's video?
Sir.
Yeah, you can do. Pawan is available here for the QA session after this one. So Pawan, you can.
It's me, Pawan Babu Bastula from Nepal. Today I am going to present my research paper on SONEUK conference. I am very much thankful to the all the officials and all the respected teachers and the professors from the SONEUK conference, and especially to Narad Bhandari sir and my supervisor, Dr. Binod Amate sir. Now, I am going to start my presentation. Feasibility of underground Kathmandu Metro Rail Patan Line by Engineer Pawan Babu Vastala and Dr. Binod Lal Amatya, who is my supervisor. The presentation outline is as follows. It will be start from the introduction and objective, literature review, route selection, ways of metro development, and finally the conclusion. Introduction. A metro is a train especially designed to run in metropolitan cities. It is a form of mass rapid transit system. It has its own right of way so that it will not have any disturbance with the other modes of transport. As in other countries or globally, metro development can be done in Kathmandu Valley in three ways. Like it can be underground, it can be on track or on surface, or it can be elevated. Elevated means above the ground level with the help of some piers or the foundations, and on surface means on the surface, um, like after some leveling, or underground means with the help of some tunnels below the ground level or below the surface. We will discuss further in the methodology section. And why it is important to construct Kathmandu metro rail, or why it is important to construct metro rail in Kathmandu, because we can see here the photos of cars and the vehicles in the left side. The average speed of the car or the vehicle is too slow that the people are suffering very much while traveling in the roads of Kathmandu. And there are many options or the alternatives for of the mass rapid transit. Like it can be monorail, it can be light rail, it can be bus rapid transit. But which option is best? You can see here from the different perspective, metro rail is best because it can carry larger number of the population, and it has been more scientific and effective, and other mode of the transport are being modeled out in the different countries also. So we are proposing metro rail from the different perspectives. The general objective of this research is to demonstrate the feasibility of underground metro rail in the ground condition of the Kathmandu Valley, Patan line, and the specific objective are to propose the tentative route that we are selecting from the Brikudibandar to Sadhubadu section, that is the Patan line, and to compare the ways of the metro construction and to recommend the best way of the construction. Here are some literatures I have gone through during my research. A conceptual study on the development of an underground metro rail in the Kathmandu Valley by Dr. Binodlal Amateshwar. He is my supervisor, and his next paper, and some of the standardization from the government of India and some of the earthquake seismic related papers. We can see here, it is the conceptual plan of the Kathmandu Metro proposed by Dr. Binod Amata. We can see here, the outer circle represents the proposed outer ring road, and the inner red circle represents the existing ring road. And we can see the green and the blue lines crossing the circumference of the ring roads, and the blue dot points represent the station. We can see here the central station is at Brikoti Mandap. And our area of interest is the Brikoti Mandap to Sadhubadu section, which is a section of the Patan line that joins the North Brahilganta to Chapagaon in the south. And to say about the conceptual map, we can say that this map mostly follow the alignment of the road and sometimes the rivers of the Kathmandu. It is due to the settlement criteria, so that the foundation of the buildings and the structures will not coincide or will not fall in the influence zone of the tunnel construction. So that mostly this map has followed the path of the roads and the rivers. We can see here the the points of the Prikuti Mandap, the red point, and starting from the Prikuti Mandap will end at Kumaltar. It is almost 6.2 kilometer in distance, and it passes through some stations or the major points like Tripureshwar, Pulchok, Lagankhel, and finally to the Kumaltar. And before finalizing the alignment and the course, we have to follow some of the standards or the course, like in the terms of the radius, in terms of the gradient, in terms of the vertical gradient, and we had followed the code like Strasha code and followed the Jonovikel Tunnel Engineering Handbook. And as we have talked earlier, there are three types we can develop the metro rails, like at surface or at elevated or underground. Ways of the metro development, like we are considering different factors which govern for the selection of the ways of metro development. The first is the nature of the surface condition. The nature of the surface condition of the Kathmandu affects the which type of the metro, either surface or underground or elevated metro to be chosen. Like we feel that this Kathmandu Valley is an ancient lake formed. It has a higher altitude at the extremities and lower altitude at the center, and it all and it had high gradients, so that the on surface metro rail will not be possible, because there are some rivers in the deep and some extremities and the hilly points at the extremities. Like initiating from the Prikutiband of Central Station, proposed Central Station, and terminating to the Kamaltar, it has maximum difference of 68 meter. Like at the Bukit Central Station, it is at 1292 meter from the sea level, while at the Bagmati crossing, it is 1272. It is almost 20 meter down in the Bagmati river. So it has its undulating nature of the ground surface. We can see here the Prikruti point of Tripureshwar, the longitudinal profile of the proposed pattern line from Prikruti to Kumaltar, Sadhavato. And we can see here this green line represents the natural ground condition, and we can see here the 25-meter line and the 40-meter line. So in this undulating nature of the ground, the on-surface material cannot be constructed. Similarly, we can also see here the proposed stations on the plan view. Similarly, talking about the next factor, that is a limited right of way, that we have already discussed, that we have to follow the road alignment or the river alignment, because Kathmandu is already populated and well populated city. There are no enough spaces to make the metro rail leaks. So we have to follow the right of way of the road, so that we can build the piers for elevated, or we can build the tunnels for the underground structures. Talking about the existing roads of the Kathmandu, they are barely 4 lane, and during piling and open foundation work, we need about the width of minimum of 9 meter, which is required for the construction of the pier and the structures to build the elevated metro. So because of the sharp turning of the existing roads and the limited height of the roads, we cannot construct the elevated metro rail system. Similarly, the third factor is the heritage conservation. Kathmandu is very rich in the terms of the temples and monasteries. There are many UNESCO listed old heritage sites. Similarly, there are other sites like Bauddha, Krishna Mandir, and other many important small and big temples, and temples of high importance. And if we construct the elevated metro rail in this important and architecturally important area, then the elevated metro will be disturbing the aesthetic beauty of the Kathmandu Valley, and it will disturb our culture and traditions. Like the Machindranath Chariot Festival, that is indicated by the red line in the map, we can see here. When we build the elevated metro rail, then the Machindranath Chariot Festival will be stopped. Therefore, therefore, as from the eye of the heritage conservation also, elevated metro rail seems to be not feasible in Kathmandu Valley. And the fourth factor is the seismic consideration. We can compare the tunnels of the elevated on surface or the underground. Like we can see here from the power atoll, the more the depth we go inside, less will be the effect of seismicity or earthquake in the structure. Similarly, the more we go up, the more will be the effect of seismicity or earthquake in the structure. So, as from the perspective of seismic consideration, also underground material structures are more feasible, are more healthier as per their safety and their life. The last consideration is the soil. There are different type of the soil in Kathmandu Valley, like the Chapagaon formation, like the Kalimati formation, and the different type of the sands or gravels, boulders. And after the ground characterization from the Prakriti Mandap to Sadhabata section, here the chainage of 00 chainage indicates the point of the Prakriti Mandap, and the chainage of 6120 indicates the point of the Khumaltar Sadhabata. After characterization of the ground, we came to know that mostly the tunnel passed through the Kalimati formation and sometimes in the Chapagaon formation. Like the proposed alignment mostly passed through the Kalimati formation, clay silt and silty clay combination, and which lies below the groundwater table. Similarly, similarly after the Pulchok station to the Sadabatu station, it seems to be in Chapagaon formation, and we had calculated the different parameters, geotechnical parameters of the soil through which the tunnel is proposed to pass, like the weight density, like the angle of shearing resistance, like the undrained angle of shearing resistance, drain angle of shearing resistance, Young's modulus of elasticity, and we came to conclusion that the soil of the Kathmandu Valley is strong enough to bear the underground metro rails. So, is the final conclusion of our research that the elevated metro rail system will damage the beauty, aesthetic importance of the city, and it will be more hazardous from the seismic point of view, and the right of way and the sharp bending of the existing road will not support the elevated and the on-surface metro rail system. So, from the point of the heritage conservation or the pristine environment conservation, from the perspective of the seismic consideration, and we can construct more sustainable and more reliable underground metro stations, which will be creating many stations and many economic hubs, and for the betterment of the transportation and the socio-economic upgrade of the Kathmandu Valley. So in this way, I am going to conclude my presentation, and thank you everyone for listening my presentation. I will be here in question and answer session. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you so much, Pawan Babu Bastala, for your very insightful presentation. You know, the research is very important to understand things. How do you start? What are the contexts? You know, what are the challenges? So if we don't understand this aspect, then you cannot introduce new initiatives, new projects. So from that point of view, you presented very, very insightful, talk. So thank you so much. Now we have time for questions.
Thank you.
Right, questions. Obviously, your supervisor is just in front of me, so sometimes, you know, students feel very nervous when they see their supervisor in front of their presentation.
Yes, sir.
So
Yeah.
don't worry, you are far away from us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So I have a question,
Yeah,
one
please,
question.
yeah.
So I just curious. I talked with him, with Binoji so many times. Still, I have a question. So
Okay.
how far we, you said this road, following road alignment, but
Yes.
just beside the road alignment, there is a maybe footpath, but maybe not. And there is a high-rise building, shopping, buildings, shops or residential building.
Mm.
So if you build a tunnel underneath, on the ground,
from the road center line, how much will be the, safest right of way on the ground for the tunnel?
Yeah, it is a fact that Kathmandu Valley is already fully populated, and it is another fact that Kathmandu Metro is only the option for the effective and scientific management of the transportation. So the best way is to follow the road alignment or the river alignment, because the alignment so that the alignment of the metro station or the while excavating the soil from tunnel, the influence zone of the tunnel construction will not coincide with the influence zone of the building. So for that we can check prior to the construction, like when we vary the depth of the tunnel construction from the ground surface, then we can check either the tunnel construction influence zone is meeting or coinciding with the influence zone of the structure foundation. And it cannot be said like a certain meter. We have to check, like if the building have the stronger foundation or the high rise building, then the influence zone will be more. Like we can make the stress bulb of the stress foundation, and we have to go a bit to the greater depth in shorter region. And if we have like the Dastas Rangasala, for example, then the inflation of the building will not affect the tunnel. Then we can get a slighter at a near to the ground surface. But talking about the right of way, we by the code says we need a minimum of 9 meter for the construction of the piers and for depositing our construction materials and for the machinery equipment to rest while construction. We have to do analytical checkup before construction, like the inflation and the inflation of the tunnel. Yeah.
Right, thank you. Any more questions? I have two questions. Number one, which stage
Yes,
of
sir.
your PhD are you? Are you first year, second year, final year?
I have graduated.
You have already finished the.
Yeah, I have
Oh,
already
you
finished.
are doing. You are in MSc. It's not PhD. Okay, right. Okay, very good. MSc is being this in-depth research is very good. So you are towards PhD then.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, the second question is, in your conclusion, you provided more like challenge than benefits of metro rail in Nepal. Am I right to understand that way?
Okay, can say.
So you provided your conclusion was not very optimistic for metro rail. That is how I understood. If you,
More challenging.
I mean, you got more challenge than solution.
Why did you say that? Maybe you need to explain to him.
Yeah, I think you got in your
challenging?
I think in your conclusion, maybe there are challenges, but how do you overcome those challenges? What are the critical factors for metro rail to be successful in Nepal, in Kathmandu? And what are the ways you can meet those challenges or those critical success factors, I can say?
Okay. Dr. Binod Amate sir is here with you.
Yeah. You go first.
So in front of
Yeah,
in front of him, I could not say much better. But as a student and a presenter, I have to speak somehow. The question is already raised. There are many challenges for the construction of the Kathmandu Metro. Like the challenge is we are working in the Kathmandu Metro promotion group. The most and the foremost challenge to be coped is we have no any policy in the government level, like who will take the ownership, like like the local level or the federal level or the provincial level. Like we do not have a clear right, because there has no any tunnel construction done before, and we do not have any legal laws, like how much depth or how much deeper the property right of the public can claim. Like we do not have any policy of like the boarding system, like the right of way or the settlement, and how to compensate the undulating or the induced settlement property of the people. So we have to work in the mostly in the policy level. and concrete, we have to work like in the ownership or the like the payback period or the like the interest to be returned from the government level. There are different things to be
I think
worked.
maybe what you could have done is recommendation for future work. You have
Yeah,
done
yeah.
your job in the MSc project. That's very commendable. You really tackle a very good topic. But you can maybe suggest, next whoever comes to do maybe PhD for next study, you can recommend.
I've seen Pawan, I think he should be clever enough to grab your suggestion or your question as his PhD title.
I
Very
want
good.
to add,
Yeah,
so the
please.
basic job Pawan did is whether we can build underground metro in ground condition of Kathmandu for the Patan line. Patan line starts from Brikudi Mandap, for his section he goes to south. So Patan line from Brikudi Mandap to Kumaltak, South Bato Kumaltak. So basically from his study, he demonstrated that underground metro rail is feasible for the ground condition of Kathmandu Valley,
Right.
because he's a ground student.
Right.
He did MSc in geotechnical engineering in Institute of Engineering Pulsar campus, and he verified that.
Yeah,
So
very
that's
good.
his achievement.
Well, Pawanji, I was with Institute of Engineering from 1988 to 2001.
Oh,
So we started our first BA in mechanical engineering while I was there.
oh, great news.
Anyway, that's history. Well,
Thank you.
well, thank you so much again. And if there are no questions, we can go to our last presentation. Now, sir,
Thank you,
if
sir.
Thank you, Pawan.
am I correct?
Thank you
Thanks so much again. All the best.
Yeah, for this first session, the last one, because the Sajan could not be presented. So yeah, the Gaurav, are you ready?
Yeah. So now we
Okay.
have Gaurav Shrestha, Institute of Engineering, Nepal. So may I also take some time to introduce Gaurav?
Yeah, please. Go ahead.
Okay. Right. Well, Gaurav Shrestha is presenting assessment of safety practices in earthquake reconstruction and retrofitting projects. So Mr. Gaurav Shrestha is a graduate of MSc in Construction Management, graduate from Institute of Engineering, Pulsar campus, Tribhuvan University. He completed his bachelor's degree in civil engineering from Kathmandu Engineering College, affiliated to Tribhuvan University. Mr. Shrestha has experience in surveying, quality control, civil estimation, and site supervision. So, Gauravji, is the online floor is yours. Please go ahead.
Just
How is it
one
recorded?
just one note from sir.
Yeah, please.
The Pawan Shrestha, the resource or the project was also funded by SONEUK as well.
Wow.
No,
So-
Gaurav.
Sorry,
Yeah,
Gaurav
Gaurav,
Shrestha.
okay.
Yeah, sorry, Gaurav. Yeah, Gaurav Shrestha, the project also funded by SONEUK. It was from long time. It under the safety measures of safety development in Nepal. So SONEUK also contributed on that one.
Very good. So we have very special interest. Thank you. Yeah, please go ahead.
Good morning, respected teachers, coordinators, supervisors, SONY UK and SEEDS Pulsar campus. I'm Gaurav Shrestha from MSc in Construction Management, Pulsar campus. I'm from Kathmandu, Nepal, and currently I have been involved in the study related to safety practices in earthquake reconstruction and retrofitting projects. The topic of my paper is Assessment of Safety Practices in Earthquake Reconstruction and Retrofitting Practices. Construction industry has been growing in Nepal at a fast pace. This has a major contribution to the economy of Nepal, providing a large number of employments in the country. Gorkha earthquake has added a need for a large number of reconstruction and retrofitting projects of Nepal. With the increase in construction projects, the number of accidents has also increased. This study was conducted covering 7 reconstruction and retrofitting projects. The findings of this study indicate that training, education, and experience of workers had a significant role in decreasing the likelihood of occurrence of accidents at site. This is the important outcome from this study that project management can adopt to follow the safety legislations and implementation at the site of the reconstruction and retrofitting projects for improving overall safety. Construction is always risky because of outdoor operations, work at height, complicated on-site plants and equipment operations, coupled with workers' attitudes and behaviors towards safety. Various tasks are carried out simultaneously in the construction site. All these works are to be implemented in proper coordination with each other. The communication between the workers should be very efficient to ensure proper coordination between them. Even small negligence can have a catastrophic outcome, causing a major accident, putting the project objective in jeopardy. The consequence of an accident may range from a minor short-term delay at work up to the loss of human lives. Post-disaster reconstruction is a field in which a lot of thorough research is yet to be done. Post-disaster reconstruction PDR has a lot more ambiguity and complexities than a regular construction project. Yet they are both treated in a similar manner and no special consideration is given to the PDR projects. Construction workers involved in PDR are prone to all the construction hazards of regular construction, but with a higher level of exposure. Despite the added exposure to hazard in a reconstruction and retrofitting projects, they are still governed by the same set of laws, rules, and regulations of a regular construction project. In addition to that, even the available laws, rules, and regulations are found to be neglected in practice. Let's talk about post-disaster reconstruction phase. Total reconstruction of a structure after a disaster refers to the action of bringing the structure back to its original state or even better than its pre-disaster state. Talking about retrofitting now. Retrofitting is a fairly new concept in the construction industry of Nepal, which deals with restoring a damaged structure to its original form and function. Similarly, reconstruction. During reconstruction, a damaged structure is completely dismantled. The site is then cleared and the debris is properly managed. New architectural plans are prepared, either by preserving the originality or by updating the plans according to the new requirements. Talking about construction accidents. Accidents can happen at any time to any person and its probability of occurrence can only be minimized but never be completely removed. Staying prepared for the worst case scenario while working at a construction site is the best preventive measure that a worker can adopt in order to stay safe from a construction accident. Training. The workers who perform tasks without adequate training have comparatively higher probability to experience serious injuries and or even death. Hence, the management should always make sure that all the workers are pre-informed about the rules and regulations of site regarding safety at work before they start working. Let's discuss about Labor Act 2074. Labor Acts are passed in order to safeguard rights of the workers in Nepal. Various amendments are made to these acts time and again according to the requirements. The current Labor Act is far from perfection and many more amendments are yet to come in the future, but for now, the rights of the construction workers are promised to be protected by the Act. Discussing about the methodology in this study, the primary data were collected through questionnaire survey, whereas secondary data were collected through technical reports, governmental and non-governmental reports, thesis works, and newspaper articles related to the topic of my research. Study area in this study comprises of 7 different retrofitting and reconstruction projects, namely Tarahara, secondly adjoining building at north and south sides of Singadarbar West Gate, similarly Department of Road Babar Mahal, Kesar Mahal, Budanilkantha Dharmasala, Bal Mandir, and finally Nepal Administrative Staff College. Now let's go to the results and discussion of the study. No distinct pattern was established between population distribution of workers and their age. Only 2% of the total worker population were women, whereas 98% were men. Around 42% of the total worker population were illiterate. No workers were found to have higher education than secondary level. It was seen that around 38% of the worker population had less than a year of experience. Only 10% of the population had work experience of more than 5 years. Similarly, about 83% of the total worker population have had experienced accident during their work, ranging from a minor accident to a major one. Around 17% of the population stated that they hadn't experienced any kind of work-related accident till date. As much as 84% of the total worker population hadn't taken any kind of training related to their work in the construction site. Only 16% of the population have received work-related training beforehand. Jumping to the conclusion of the study, safety clauses were included in contract of all the visited sites, yet not all the clauses were seen to be implemented in practice. Although contract clause clearly stated that accident record had to be maintained at any time in the site, it was not found to be maintained at any of the 7 sites. The workers who had received training were less likely to have an accident at site as compared to the workers who had not received any training. As the level of education of workers increased, the occurrence of accident decreased. And finally, experienced workers were less likely to have an accident at site as compared to inexperienced workers. The recommendations that I can pass through this study are as follows. Concerned authorities shall regularly inspect whether the accident records are properly maintained at every site or not, as well as any preventive measures are adopted to avoid future occurrence of accidents. A culture of rewarding and punishing workers shall be introduced. Workers following safety rules shall be rewarded, whereas workers breaking safety rules shall be punished. It is recommended that the management shall organize regular safety awareness programs for the construction workers. It is recommended to assign basic literature course as minimum academic qualification during the hiring process of construction workers. And finally, minimum experience level shall be associated in the hiring process of construction workers as per nature of the job. I'm thankful to Society of Nepalese Engineers in UK, SONEUK, UK, for providing guidance as well as financial support to conduct this work. Also, I'm thankful to Center of Infrastructure Development Studies, CIDS, Institute of Engineering, for providing guidance for completion of the work. Thank you.
Wonderful, Mr. Gaurav Shrestha. Thank you so much for sharing your findings and interesting topic. Now we have time for a few questions. So questions, please.
Can I ask?
Yeah, please.
I'm quite related myself involved with it. One to the UK. And like as you're sharing, it's like it's sharing, I'm sharing my experience. It seems like and a question to ask him, like when he mentioned the training thing there, was it like health and safety training or like mission training after like for reconstruction or retrofitting provided by the government sort of thing for after the earthquake? Yeah, so they were quite relevant in our country. So what specific training like in his research is including? Can I ask?
Gauravji, can you hear a question?
Yes, sir, I can hear.
Yeah, please.
My question. In this study, I was more concerned towards the training related to health and safety rather than the mason training.
as I said, because data may be quite not that accurate. Like when we talk about machine learning, because in these retrofitting projects and things, the machine learning were quite relevant by the government, and they were giving a lot of machine learning these days. So I want to add one question. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, very good. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Right. Other questions? We have luxury of a little bit of time because it was, we have few minutes. So, yeah, please.
And he mentioned that for health and safety, we need to give health and safety training to the people. Improve just as a query and a sharing the experience. मैले चाहिँ त्यो काम गर्दा एउटा उहाँको स्कुल पार्टमा काम गरेँ हैन अनि त्यति बेला चाहिँ हेल्थ एन्ड सेफ्टी चाहिँ दिनुपर्छ भनेर ट्रेनिङ दिनुपर्छ भने पिपी प्रोभाइड गर्यो अब सेफ्टी बेल्टहरु प्रोभाइड गर्यो त्यो एरियामा काम गर्नको लागि तर जब हामीले यो चाहिन्छ इट्स नेसेसरी भनेर भन्दा पनि इम्प्लिमेन्टेसन इज नट द्याट इजी हैन कस्तो हुन्छ भने मान्छेहरुलाई सेफ्टी बेल्ट दियो अथवा भयो भने अब यो दानामा म्याम हामी कहाँ बार्ने रुखमा बार्ने केमा बार्ने कसरी लगाउने सेफ्टी बेल्ट सेफ्टी हार्नेस दिएर मात्र भएन नि त सो वी नीड टु थिंक अबाउट त्यो ठाउँमा के फिजिकल छ एन्ड व्हेन यु गिभ देम बुट्स एन्ड ग्लोभ्स हुन्छ नि उनीहरुलाई हामीलाई गर्नु भयो वी कान्ट वेयर दिस हुन्छ नि त्यस्तो खालको पनि छ इट्स नट इजी टु इम्प्लिमेन्ट व्हेन वी आर टकिङ अबाउट गिभिङ ट्रेनिङ्स एन्ड एभ्रिथिङ इट्स अब त्यो कतिको सजिलो छ त्यहाँ एडप्ट गर्नको लागि भन्ने कुरा पनि इट्स रियली इम्पोर्टेन्ट द्याट्स what I experienced in my field back in Nepal,
Yeah, very good. Thank you for sharing that. Gauravji, do you want to add on that anything?
Yes, sir. Actually, ma'am le भन्नुभयो एकदम ठीक हो है म पनि सी कन्स्ट्रक्सनमा जस्ट कन्स्ट्रक्सन रिकन्स्ट्रक्सन पनि हैन हजुर नर्मल कन्स्ट्रक्सनमा पनि काम गरेको थिएँ मैले 13 मन्थ्स त्यतिखेर पनि यही प्रब्लम आउँथ्यो हेलमेट लाउँदा चाहिँ गर्मी हुन्छ भनेर हेलमेट लाउन मान्न लगाउनै धेरै गाह्रो के अनि त्यतिखेर चाहिँ हामीले के गर्थ्यौं भने लेबरमा पनि एउटा लिडर गरेर राख्थ्यौं अनि उसले चाहिँ जसले हेलमेट लगाएन उसलाई त्यो नाम टिपाएर अनि उसलाई चाहिँ सर्टेन अमाउन्ट चाहिँ अब फाइन मेबी 1 or 2 आवर्स पर डे चाहिँ फाइन तिराउने हिसाबले कटाउने अनि त्यसरी चाहिँ सुरुमा अलिकति अब मान्छेहरुलाई चाहिँ एडजस्ट गर्न गाह्रो हुन्छ तर पछि चाहिँ सबैले मान्न थाले त्यो चाहिँ राम्रो एउटा इम्प्लिमेन्टिङ मेजर हो जस्तो लाग्छ
Right. Thank you very much. I think if there are no any questions, we can maybe I would like to summarize the technical session. So wrap up. That is what it is called here. Well, first of all, it's been so privileged, so honoring to be together in person after 2 years. That has really boosted our community feeling and sense of belonging with Society of Nepalese Engineers in the UK. Second, the topic of this year's is just very relevant. Engineering and technology for sustainability. What is happening around us? Our ambassador has really clearly painted the picture. I don't need to repeat that. So what we are doing as engineers, I think the focus of Society of Nepalese Engineers in the UK has been always society. How can we solve the societal problem through our research, through our professional contribution? And sustainability has been always our #1 priority. I think we must be very proud of that. And today's, this year's the topic, the theme, engineering and technology for sustainability is just amazing. If I go back to just a summary of the topic that we listened today, the keynote talk from Professor Regmi. I don't know whether Professor Regmi, you are still there or not. Maybe not. He's already late in Kathmandu. Yeah.
Professor Regmi already left, sir. Already left.
No problem. Yeah.
I was told that he prepared his presentation throughout the midnight.
Throughout the night, yeah.
Yesterday evening.
Right.
So he made us really proud today.
Yeah. So the topic of Professor Regmi was very relevant. Obviously, the air pollution in Kathmandu Valley and how we can control. I hope these findings have been gone to concerned bodies, government bodies. They may have been, there just to kind of knock the door. I think we can do research, but that has to go to concerned bodies to listen, to implement. But nonetheless, research and awareness are very important. That is what we do. So from that point of view, our first keynote talk was really relevant and contemporary, and we really thank you, Professor Regmi, for this important contribution. And then obviously, second talk was from our person next to me, Sustainable and Integrated Transport in Kathmandu Valley. He brought so many resource findings and tried to communicate how important it is. And especially, I can remember the transport sector contributing towards pollution. And also, KK Seshaji brought some kind of remedy, some kind of measure. So I can put that in 4 ways. Number 1, technological advancement. Number 2, you can use sustainable materials, as we engineers here. Number 3, you can go to power system, and that also comes to technological aspect. Number 4, you can go design and maybe fuel tank, small fuel tank, and so on. So we engineers have lots of role to play to bring that aspect better. I mean, contribute more, less CO2 emissions. So transport has been very much focused in our today's presentation. So it is very important area, and that is very sure, because 25% of pollution worldwide comes from transport sector. So thank you, KK Seshaji, for such a amazing talk. Then number 3, we had Pawan Babu Bastola talking about feasibility of underground Kathmandu Metro Rail pattern line. I like that pattern line, and starting from Rikuti Mandal. I have been traveled so many countries. I have been to Japan. There's in Tokyo, this is called Kitasenju Station. That is the central station that you go to different part of the country. We in England, we have a waterloo station if you go to Toronto, So Rikuti Mandal pattern line, I like that. That is very nice. And thank you for bringing that aspect. Obviously, you've got a lot of challenges. And I commented on your presentation that maybe there would have been more optimistic view, but nonetheless, you need to bring challenges. If you don't tackle challenges, then we cannot bring a project in reality. So that was very interesting talk, and thank you, Pawan Babu Bastolaji, for your amazing contribution. So unfortunately, we have not had our post talk planned because of some reason we couldn't bring that.
Even sick.
Yeah, so unwell. So, and then the final presentation was obviously assessment of safety practices in the earthquake reconstruction and retrofitting project. That our SONEUK UK contributed to that research, and they were very interesting findings. And sometimes, the cultural aspect, mindset plays a big important role when you try to implement. If you want to put helmet, I used to do a lot of training in Kathmandu. So whenever you go to workshop, please use when they are welding, please use welding seal. They will say, no, we have been doing welding for the last 20 years. It doesn't matter. So they will not use a welding. They will just use their hand as a seal, and they will just weld maybe 2 feet without any seal. So the mindset and the practices are very difficult to change, but we have to make an effort. Okay. So that was very interesting talk from Gaurav Srestha. So with that, I conclude the technical session 1. And we have got amazing food already put there, and the smell is spreading. Obviously, I'll pass on to Narasar and Roshan sir, obviously. So just before I finish, thank you so much again, and thank you so much for your questions and valuable contributions. Most grateful. And our technical session 2 will be chaired by my very dear colleague Ramesh Manathan sir, and that will be very exciting. We are looking forward to that. Thank you very much. Now I pass on to Narasar and Roshan sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Professor Homnath Dakal sir. Let's give a big applause to Professor Dakal sir. He has done a tremendous job for us, not only today, but from since when we established the SONEUK UK. Thank you very much for your guidance and support, sir. Thank you very much. I think of course, I cannot see from here. I think it looks like that the food is already ready. Of course, let's see what time we come back. Let me see for the second session. Yeah, it's just around 2 o'clock. If we can come break, we can have the lunch by 2 o'clock. That would be great. And about 2:05, we will start the second session. Will be chaired by Professor Ramesh Manathan sir. Thank you very much, and let's have a nice lunch yourself, and I will have here at home as well. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Naraji. So we are about to have lunch. Another good thing about the conference, obviously.
I'm so happy about this conference. Not because we have wonderful presentations that we already used to have anyway. Everybody thought it. राम्रो presentation राम्रो पिक्चर लाग्छ सधैँ होइन राम्रो श्रोता जहिले पनि एकदम क्वेसन आन्सर एकदम राम्रो मलाई एकदमै खुसी लागेको कुरा चाहिँ के भन्दाखेरि 2010 मा मैले एउटा सेमिनार गरेर चाहिँ विनोद दिदीको बोल्नु भएको थियो होइन यो मेटेरियलको बारेमा 12 वर्ष भइसक्यो 12 वर्ष यहाँ मेटेरियलको बारेमा कति गल्फन गर्दा छु नि जब बेलायतमा तर हामीले चाहिँ यो के भन्छ हामीले यो रियलाइज गर्नुपर्ने कुरा चाहिँ के भन्दाखेरि यो एउटा हिस्ट्रीको पार्ट हो होइन बेलायतमा बसेर नेपाली इन्जिनियरहरू र bunch of engineers in UK they are kind of talking about discussing metro rail for 12 years and 1,000 years already passed and 20 वर्षसम्म नेपाली इन्जिनियरहरूले बेलायतमा बसेर मेट्रो रेलको बारेमा गन्थन गरे अब के आयो त पछि त्यो हिस्ट्रीमा चाहिँ हाम्रो सोच छ के त्यसको पार्ट चाहिँ हामीले होइन त्यो क्वेसनको आन्सर दिनको लागि चाहिँ यो कन्फरेन्स चाहिँ एकदमै रेस्पोन्सिबल छ दिस metro has been a hot topic in every year of this conference we have to get some output SONEUK is very much ready and prepared to fund any project, not only metro, and what I especially one more have you not just as a chairman, as a member of SONEUK. Oh, the KKZलाई मैले यत्रो वर्ष चिनेको छु हैन आज मैले KKZलाई यस्तो एकदम डिफरेन्ट रूपमा देखेँ कि उहाँले चाहिँ यस्तो किसिमले प्रेजेन्ट गर्नुभयो यस्तो डीप डाइभ गरिसक्नुभयो कि उहाँले त्यसमा maybe he's inspired by all the metro discussions, University and all the conferences. I don't know, but that is great to see him in this form. In some form, we'll have more and more people in this form. We'll have more Universities, more KKs in the future. I'm sure. मलाई सबभन्दा खुसी लागेको चाहिँ कस्तो भन्दाखेरि एउटा दुःख लागेको कुरा पनि छ त्यो चाहिँ अब हामीले सल्भ गर्नुपर्छ लन्च टाइममा जस्तै कि विनोदजीले चाहिँ अब केकेजीले घनश्यामजीले चाहिँ एउटा प्रेजेन्टेसन गर्नुभयो भने हामीले पनि wow भनेर गर्छ नि त हैन अनि यहाँको यंगस्टरहरु पनि यस तर आइ एम नट रियली ह्यापी when people just say yes हैन जब चाहिँ चारजना एकदम यङ नेपाली नेपालबाट आउनु भएको इन्जिनियरहरुले चाहिँ क्वेशन गर्छन् नि हैन फिजिकल छ त यो छ त त्यो छ त भनेर क्वेशन गर्छन् that really excites me that is the most exciting part and I really encourage you guys to kind of step up speak up question हैन प्रेजेन्टेसनले मात्र के हुँदैन के तपाईहरुले क्वेशन गर्नै पर्छ जति तपाईहरुले एकदम त्यो आफ्नो क्वेलिफिकेसनहरु क्वेशनहरु गर्नुहुन्छ नि उहाँहरुले त्यति सजिलो हुन्छ के they will be more prepared to answer questions like these they'll probably be more prepared to kind of rework at various aspects of their research so you are actually building them up building the whole situation the whole society we are together creating the answer to the question okay for the last 10 years of history so we got to do this we got to continue this in the next session I really want to see lots of questions मलाई एउटा मात्र दुःख लागेको कुरा चाहिँ के भन्दा जस्तै अहिले तपाईले हेर्नुस् यहाँ यो फ्लोर प्लान हेर्नुस् हैन सबै इन्जिनियरहरु एउटा फाइल सबै प्रेसर नट गोइङ टु वर्क वी हैव टु ब्रेक दिस सरी दुई इयर पनि भन्नु भयो देयर इज नो वन अनि तपाईहरु आफ्नो जबमा जुनियर सिनियर सबै हुनुहुन्छ होला that's fine हामी सबैजना 20 वर्षै काम गर्दा दिएको we all kind of senior most position to the top this is in our fact so society of nepal engineers you on that so we are all kind of friends and engineers and equally capable भने नि अघि एकअर्काले हेल्प गर्दै त्यो गर्न हाल्दैन हैन so senior junior भनेर म वर्ड कलिङ युज गर्दिन म त के मात्र भन्छु हामी सबैजना equally capable हो अनि युथ पनि भने कतिजना फेरि अफेन्डर होला त्यो पनि होइन हैन प्रेसरहरु अलिकति हुन्छ नि लाइक जस्ट ग्रेजुएटेड यो फ्लोर प्लान अलिकति चेन्ज होस् भन्ने चाहिँ मैले आशा गरेको छु सेकेन्ड सेसन त्यसको लागि हामीले एफेक्टिभली के लन्च यो लन्च टाइम लेट्स मेक युज अफ दिस लन्च not just to taste the Nepali food हैन also to one of the senior members like के रिक्वेस्ट गर्छु भने वीरेन्द्र सरले चाहिँ वीरेन्द्रजीले यो कन्फरेन्स सुरु गर्नुभएको 7 वर्ष अगाडि जुन केकेजीहरुले गर्नुभएको कारण चाहिँ यो प्रेजेन्टेसन मात्र गर्न हैन त्यो हामी जुनमा नि गर्न सक्छौं हामीले गर्न खोजेको नेटवर्किङ हो जुन चाहिँ भइरहेको छैन के हैन अब हामी यसरी बसेर यसरी फिल गरेर इट्स नट गोना ह्यापन म सिनियर मेम्बरलाई के रिक्वेस्ट गर्छु भने लन्च टाइममा हैन बरु 10 मिनेट बढी लन्च गरौँ तर तपाईहरुले म के रिक्वेस्ट गर्छु एभ्री न्यू फेस एभ्री यङ फेस हियर अराउन्ड तपाईले गरे उहाँलाई बोल्नुस् नाम सोध्नुस् तपाईको फ्याकल्टी सोध्नुस् केही न केही कुरा उनीहरुलाई पनि सिकाउनुस् हैन अनि उनीहरुबाट केही सिक्नुस् अनि म तपाईहरुलाई त्यो रिक्वेस्ट गर्छु तपाईहरुलाई चाहिँ के रिक्वेस्ट गर्छु प्लिज मिंगल अप हैन यो चाहिँ गर्नुपर्छ यो लन्च त्यसको लागि हो है खानाको लागि मात्र so when we come back this should be like a sport day we should be all together right thank you
just लन्चमा जानुभन्दा अगाडि खाली पेटमा म एउटा सानो एनाउन्समेन्ट गर्छु हैन खाली पेटमा चाहिँ एनाउन्समेन्ट गर्छु थ्यांक यू भेरी मच के रे यो चाहिँ अन बिहाफ अफ जनरल सेक्रेटरी विदु सर बिहाफ उहाँको चाहिँ घाँटी बिग्रेको फाइनल है म चाहिँ आज निमित्त जेनरल सेक्रेटरीको आज म सेक्रेटरी हुँ है सेक्रेटरी हुँ आज अहिलेको लागि त्यो एनाउन्समेन्टको लागि चाहिँ खासमा जेनरल सेक्रेटरीले गर्नुपर्ने मैले गर्दैछु र अगेन सन्तेजीले भनेको छु यो पहिलाको चाहिँ कन्फरेन्सहरूमा सोनिएको इभेन्टहरूमा चाहिँ कि कपाल फुलेको आउँथे कि कपाल नभएको आउँथे कि कपाल फुलेकाहरू र कपाल नभएकाहरू चाहिँ यहाँनिर हुन्थ्यो होइन र आज यो कन्फरेन्समा चाहिँ के देखियो भनेदेखि हराभरा कालो कपाल भएको त्यस कारणले चाहिँ यो एनाउन्समेन्ट एकदम इम्पोर्टेन्ट छ यहाँको सहभागिताको लागि अन्तर्हृदयबाट सुनिदिए एकदम मुरी धन्यवाद दिन चाहन्छ र त्यसै गरी चाहिँ एक्टिभली पार्टिसिपेसन होस् भन्ने हिसाबले चाहिँ हामीहरूको यो हामी 4औं एक्जिक्युटिभ कमिटी हो यसको कार्यकाल चाहिँ यो अगस्तको महिनाको अन्त्यमा सकिरहेछ अनि सेप्टेम्बरबाट हामीले चाहिँ अर्को जिल्ला हस्तान्तरण गर्नुपर्छ र अनलाइक नेपाली पोलिटिक्स we would like to happily hand over this हैन त्यसको लागि चाहिँ हामीले चाहिँ के अरे हाम्रो भाइरल ग्रुपमा पनि अनाउन्स गरिसकेका छौँ र यहाँ म आज अनाउन्स गर्न चाहन्छु अफिसियली र यो सोने युकेको 5th एक्जिक्युटिभ कमिटीको लागि हामी चाहिँ तुरन्त 13 अगस्तमा अनलाइन सिस्टमबाट 2 दिन समय दिएर चाहिँ भोट गर्ने नयाँ एक्जिक्युटिभ कमिटीको लागि र हामीले चाहिँ 14th मा एनुअल जेनरल मिटिङ हुन्छ जसमा चाहिँ हामी कम्प्लिटली नयाँ एक्जिक्युटिभ कमिटी चाहिँ एनाउन्स गरेर उहाँहरूलाई चाहिँ हामीले 14 अगस्तबाट चाहिँ ह्यान्डओभर गर्दैछौँ है र त्यसको लागि चाहिँ हामीले चाहिँ इलेक्सन कमिटी गठन गरेका छौँ र इलेक्सन कमिटीमा चाहिँ आई वुड लाइक टु एनाउन्स 3 पिपल हियर मिस्टर कृष्ण किशोर श्रेष्ठ जो चाहिँ हाम्रो प्रमुख निर्वाचन आयुक्त भनेर भनौँ उहाँ चाहिँ हुनुहुन्छ र डाक्टर रमेश मलासिनी and then we have got Mr. Santosh Mandal. उहाँहरू 3 जनाको चाहिँ इलेक्सन कमिटी हामीले चाहिँ घोषणा गरेका छौँ र त्यो इलेक्सन कमिटीले चाहिँ अब जिम्मेवारी चाहिँ अब यो नोमिनेसनको डेट कहिले अनि त्यस पछाडि इलेक्सनका प्रोसेसहरू चाहिँ उहाँहरूले छुट्टै एनाउन्स गर्नुहुन्छ हामी चाहिँ एक्जिक्युटिभ कमिटी मेम्बरले चाहिँ खालि त्यसमा सपोर्ट मात्रै गर्ने हो उहाँहरूलाई त्यो बाहेक हाम्रो हुँदैन र आई वुड लाइक दिस फेसेस टु कम फरवर्ड है कुनै बेलामा चाहिँ मलाई पनि यसै गरी सोनियुकेमा चाहिँ होइन दर्शनजी आउनुहोस् भनेर चाहिँ कराउनु भएको थियो अनि आइपुगे पनि लकिली सबैजनाले माया दिनुभयो त्यसै गरी चाहिँ नयाँ फेसेसहरू आउनुपर्छ र अरू पनि थुप्रै नेपाली इन्जिनियर्सहरू लन्डनबाट बाहिर मफसलमा पनि चाहिँ बसेर चाहिँ आफ्नो एक्टिभली के अरे चाहिँ आफ्नो कर्म गरिरहनु भएको छ उहाँहरूलाई पनि सँगै लिएर आउँ थुप्रै नलेजहरू छ हामीले खालि त नलेजलाई हामीले एक ठाउँमा ल्याउनु मात्रै नसकेको र तपाईँहरू पनि एक्टिभ भएर चाहिँ आउनुपर्छ भन्ने हिसाबले र यहीँबाट कोही प्रेसिडेन्ट जेनरल सेक्रेटरी अलरेडी हुन्छ भनेदेखि यु क्यान एनाउन्स योर नोमिनेसन है अगाडि अहिले त एकदम चुनावको मिति घोषणा हुनुभन्दा अगाडि नै नेपालमा स्वतन्त्र उम्मेदवार यु क्यान थ्याङ्क यू हेभ अ नाइस
यो मेरो निकाल्नु यसले चाहिन्छ
सर हजुरको टाइम चेन्ज लाग्यो